I am your hero, Airica Demia, and this is the Fans View Podcast.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Fans View Podcast. Today's guest is a woman that seemingly has wrestling in her blood. She began training at the age of 14 and hasn't really slowed down since. You take a look at her cage match and it's just, good Lord, I don't know how she finds the time. Please welcome to my show, and more importantly, notice her, our hero, Airica Demia. Airica, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm excited to be here. Oh.
I am so glad. We are excited to have you. If you don't tear your computer up over there,
yeah, I almost knocked over my pencil sharpener.
First things first, when I first came across you, the first thing that stands out is your unique gimmick. And boy, is it unique. For those that aren't familiar with the anime culture, me included, hand up. Can you talk a little bit about, what your character is and maybe how you came up with it?
So my character, especially when I first came up with it, is more so based off of the main character of the anime My Hero Academia. His name is Deku, or Izuku Midoriya. When I was 14, me and my dad started watching this anime together. Technically not by choice. His best friend came over, he turned it on and said, y'all are going to sit down and watch this, okay? You're going to love it. And we did. He was right. We cried during the first episode. But I super heavily resonated with Deku because he was a 14-year-old kid who was bullied all the time, and he was super tiny, he was super, super skinny, and he just had this huge dream that just did not fit him as a person at all. He wanted to be the world's #1 hero. And he was also a massive crybaby. And that was literally me in a nutshell. But obviously he's a boy, I'm a girl. That's really the only difference. And something else that I just think was super relatable was All Might and my dad. All Might in the show, he is the world's #1 hero, and he is Deku's hero, overall. It's his favorite hero. And you come to find out that he's actually very sick, and he's not doing too well. He's still doing as much as he can as far as hero work goes, but his body is very decrepit. He's not able to do it like he used to. And in a lot of ways, that's how my dad was at the time. Well, that more so now. Just an older guy having health issues, doing his best to
keep it together.
Yeah, pretty much. And keep doing his job.
Yeah. And
I wanted nothing more than to be like my dad. He wants to be like All Might. So I was like, this character is me. This is why my hair is green too, because he has green hair. I dyed my hair green in 2020, and it did not look near as good then as it does now. I've always been a big anime fan since I was super little, because both my parents are anime fans. They introduced it to me. So it kind of just worked out, because that was literally around the time I started training. I drew up some gear, and my dad surprised me and had it made. And it looked exactly like how I drew it. So it was the coolest thing ever.
That's awesome. That is awesome. And again, forgive me for being ignorant in the space, but is that kind of where the uwu comes from, and the notice me, that stuff? Is that where that comes from?
Yes. So notice me comes from the phrase notice me senpai. I just kind of take off the senpai thing because it's the same thing as something that some other people do. Liv Morgan, she says watch me at the beginning of her song. It's the right. Same thing, just phrased different and more anime. And the senpai part of it, in my eyes, that's whatever company ends up signing me. Notice me senpai. notice me.
Okay.
For example, WWE, AEW, TNA, whatever,
Right.
whatever. Or a Japan promotion too.
Okay.
And this thing is also very much an anime thing. There's also this one.
Right.
There's also there's like a bunch of different variations of it. Um
Well, I love it. I'm so glad I asked because I can't be the only person that was wondering.
oh no. I have people coming up to my table all the time. They're like, "So what is this?" I'm like, "Well, it's my pose."
Yeah,
That's the easiest
yeah.
way to explain it. But
Well, yeah.
it's kind of so when it's used in an anime, it's used to show like being shy or being. It's usually like the cuter anime girls that do it. It's like, hey, I'm adorable, you know. Kind of just fits the gimmick. And uwu is basically so if you Google it, it's the expression that someone makes as a sound of something that's really cute.
Hmm.
So I don't know. There's also that uwu meme that happened a long time ago. I hate it because it makes it like weird, but um, it's part of the culture. It's not. I can't like. I'm not. I don't judge anybody. Yeah.
I respect it and I can appreciate it for sure. Um, I mentioned in the intro that you began training at a very young age. Can you talk a little bit about that, how that happened, and how that was even possible? Because obviously in North Carolina, you can't train, I think, until you're 18. So how did you kind of circumvent that?
South Carolina, you can't train. So you can't wrestle on shows until you're 18. You have to have a
That,
license in
yeah,
South
okay,
Carolina.
right.
In North Carolina, it doesn't really matter. I don't think. I think you just have to be older than 12. I could be wrong. I have no idea. The way that I got into it though is my dad's been wrestling for forever now. He started training in 2003. So that's before I was born. So I kind of just grew up around the whole thing. When I was like 7, I was like, "Hey dad, can I be a wrestler?" And he was like, "No. You're clumsy. You're going to hurt yourself. This is not a good idea." No. And then when I was like 14, um we went to a show one day. Well, the show that he worked at. Um, and before the show, he was like, "Hey, you want to take a bump?" And I was like, "Yes, I would love
Yes, I do.
to." And I took the bump, and he's like, "You know what? That wasn't half bad." And I'm like, "Yes, because I always watched you guys yell at people for doing it wrong, and I wasn't going to let myself be one of those people."
That I love that answer so much. Um, I also saw that you were the first female graduate to, to kind of go a little bit farther forward. You were the first female graduate of the Palmetto Wrestling
Mm-hmm.
Academy. Um, can you talk a little bit about what that experience was like? It says you were the first female graduate. Were you the only female currently training at that time?
So there had been quite a few women that took the classes. They just didn't happen to get through the classes because life stuff happened. It just didn't end up working out. I just kind of stuck the course. I'm not going to say I'm better than them because I'm not, because life happens. It's
No.
not about that at all. I just want to clarify that that's not what I was saying because I almost felt like it was sounding like that. That's not what I mean at all.
No, no, not at
Um,
all.
I don't know if a lot of them still wrestle. I know one that does, but she's doing very well for herself. I think she moved like across the country. But honestly, that's one of my bigger achievements in wrestling because like I started at the academy when I was 15. Didn't think I was going to get to debut because the class that I was a part of, class 5, they debuted almost an entire year before I did. So it was really hard for me to kind of stick that through and be at that show watching them debut, knowing that I was supposed to be part of that if it weren't for my age, which that's not my trainer's fault. That's not their fault. That's not
Yeah.
my fault. That's just how it turned out to be. Um,
Right.
but Ethan, my trainer, actually gave me a little shout out at that show. So it definitely helped a lot knowing that. And Like, people were super excited. They came up to me afterwards. They're like, "We can't wait to see your debut." So it was really nice to know that people cared and people were looking forward to it.
That's awesome.
But it
That is so
was
awesome.
very difficult at times.
Yeah. And that was one of the questions I was going to ask you too as a follow up is, is that distinction, being the first female to graduate, is that kind of a badge of honor that you wear even to this day?
Absolutely. It 100% is. I am very honored to be the woman that paved the way for the next women to come out of the academy. We now have another woman that came out of the academy. Her name is Joya Blake. She's doing very, very well. She debuted fairly recently. She debuted in June of last year, and she is doing absolutely phenomenal. But I'm happy to be the first. It's very, like, just, it's a great accomplishment for me because I had to work really hard to be athletic, and it's nice that it paid off.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's definitely something you should cherish because there can only be one first, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's kind of Tarantino this thing a little bit. And I want to bring it back, to little Airica. When did you first fall in love with professional wrestling?
That's a good question. Growing up with it, I can't remember an exact time that I would say I fell in love with it because I've always kind of loved it. At the very least, I just loved watching my dad wrestle. But I'd say around 7 is when I decided I wanted to be a wrestler, if that makes sense. And then by that point, I actually hadn't watched any TV wrestling yet. Didn't know what WWE was until my dad had like some friends over to watch an NXT pay-per-view, to watch a takeover. And I was like, this is so cool.
Well, you were broken in right then watching those old school NXT takeovers. Mm-hmm. That was a golden era of NXT.
Absolutely.
What is the biggest obstacle maybe that you've kind of run across so far in your young career? Is there an obstacle that really sticks out to you?
My brain. If I'm being completely honest, I've always had confidence issues. I'm a lot better about it now. It's like, even since January of this year, I'm doing so much better, and I'm so proud of myself. Like, I don't give myself credit enough for that. I am proud of myself for that because that's really, really hard to work on. There's a lot of people that are like, I don't know what to do about my confidence. I'm like, I don't know. I'm working on it too.
No, I mean, and that's awesome that you're self-aware enough to know that there's a problem that you can solve. So I mean, shout out to you.
Yeah, it's also definitely been like a lot of, not people I work with now and not people that I trained with, but when I first started training, like when I was 14, I had a lot of people telling me I couldn't do it. They were like, you're too skinny, you're going to get hurt, and you're going to quit within a week. And I was like, oh, thank you for being a friend. I love that so much. Thank you so much. But so that, a lot of people doubting me kind of made me doubt myself too. But that's really nothing more than letting other people get to me. Because if I wouldn't have let those people get to me, well, I mean, I'm here now, so it doesn't really matter. It's never a case of other people are holding you back. It's only you letting them hold you back. You're the only person that can hold you back.
Absolutely. I think that is that's going to be a social media clip right there, because you couldn't have said it better yourself. I mean, yeah, there's negative people everywhere, but the wrestling business is kind of known for having those negative Nancys. We'll put it that way. How about that?
Yeah. My trainer really helped to put that into my brain. He's like, hey, we believe in you way more than you believe in yourself, and you're going to be the first to give up on you. We're not going to let you. Keep going.
Yeah, absolutely.
And my dad's
for sure,
been like 100%. That too. Just to clarify.
Well, that's amazing that you have that kind of support system, because not everybody does. And I mean, confidence is definitely an issue, whether you're in the wrestling business or not. Wrestling confidence is definitely an issue that a lot of people struggle with, especially these days.
Absolutely.
Where would you say, obviously, you're so nice that I know you're not even going to want to answer this question, but where are some of your favorite places to work? Not discriminating against any of the other places you work, because I know you've been all over the country, all over the Southeast, all over the East Coast, just all over in general. But do you have like a couple promotions or venues or anything like that like you love working there?
For sure. I will say the coolest state I think I got to work in was California. That was awesome because it's literally directly across the country from where I live. That was awesome. I love everywhere I work pretty much, but if I had to narrow it down, Intergender Bonanza is one of my favorites. I also have a belt there. Maybe I'm a little biased. No, it's a great place to work. It's a great place for everybody. It's a very, like, I wouldn't say a tight-knit community, but we're all very supportive of each other. I absolutely love working for Dreamwave. They've, even though I haven't been there that much,
Right.
they've still done a lot for me, and it's really nice. It's also like a really nice community where everybody's very supportive. Obviously, Palmetto Championship Wrestling is my home, and Pro Wrestling Turbo is kind of like a second home.
Right.
Let's see, off the top of my head, working in New York was really cool.
That's awesome.
California, New York, and Texas are my big 3 states, and I've marked off 2 of them. I just got to work in Texas.
Hey, you. Yeah, watching this right now. I see you. If you're enjoying what you're watching, I've got one quick favor to ask, and it only takes a second, costs you nothing, and makes a huge difference. If you could go ahead and hit that like button, maybe drop a comment. If you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed. Doesn't seem like much, but for small creators, it's everything. So let's help more people find this channel and keep the content coming. And honestly, I'm pretty sure the podcast will be really grateful. So if you're having fun, you like what you see, make it official, click those buttons. And the Fans View podcast, we'll see you next time. Bye, friends.
I hear you. That is awesome.
I do have
to piggyback off. Go ahead. Go ahead. Don't let me cut you off. Go ahead.
No, you're good. I recently made my debut at RVA Wrestling, RVA Pro. There we go. I knew I had it wrong. I said it and I was like, that's not right. It's in Virginia. It's a fantastic place. First of all, the crowd is amazing. I loved it so much. It was loud the entire time. It's great. Made pretty good money with merch too. That's always nice. That's always a bonus.
I can't knock the hustle. That I remember seeing you that come across my Instagram feed. You wrestling for them here recently. Mm-hmm. The same vein, kind of to piggyback off of that question. And again, I know you're not going to want to narrow it down, but we're going to try. Who are some of your favorite people to step in the ring with? Maybe like right now.
That is a very hard question. I don't think I've really worked with somebody that I haven't enjoyed being in the ring with.
Right.
Obviously, I have the people I train with. We have the easiest matches because we train together. Like, we just know each other. We know, like, we have good chemistry naturally because we train together. Yeah, I don't have anybody that I don't like, so I can't really say I have a favorite.
I knew when I saw that question on my run sheet, I was like, I'm going to put this poor girl in a pickle. She is not going to know what to say here. But that's fine. Obviously, like, I can't fault you for that. You work with I've seen you in the ring with some incredible talent. So to narrow that down, was kind of an unfair question to start with. To kind of take a turn, to get serious for a second, I like to ask this of people on this show because this is the Fans View podcast. So I always want to try to get to know people, outside of the ring a little bit, get to know the person. And this question kind of gets to the root of that. And that is, what's your why? What motivates you? Obviously, you're in a stage of your career right now where you're just grinding. You're not living, in the laps of luxury. You're not getting the Mercedes rentals. Like, you're driving 8 hours for $100 if you're lucky. You're beating the hell out of your body 3 times a weekend. Why do that to yourself week after week?
Sometimes my brain goes, that's a fantastic question. But when I can actually take a step back and think about it, so my reason is to be for other people what my dad was for me. my dad was my biggest hero when I was little, because he's never been like a normal guy. So it's very hard sometimes for young girls, young guys, young people to find a role model that they can really relate to. I always had a hard time because I'm like, well, this person, like, they have straight teeth, they're like built differently than I am. They don't have like this weird personality. But my dad was he always owned his weirdness, uniqueness. Yeah. And I want to be a role model for people who can't find somebody else to look up to, and for people who have difficult lives, because sometimes all you need is an escape. And if I can be that for somebody, that's all I can really ask for. Even if I don't get signed one day, even if I don't get to make this my living, which I really hope I do. That's all I can really ask for, because I was bullied a lot when I was a kid. My teeth aren't straight, I'll tell you that. I feel like I should get like braces or something, but at the same time, if there's a kid that looks at me and they're like, oh, wait, she doesn't have straight teeth, maybe I don't need to worry about mine. I don't want to change that, because I always was like, man, I hate my teeth. That was something that I couldn't find in somebody else. I want to give kids someone to look up to, somebody to represent them as people. This is the best way I can phrase that. I want to be a hero. That's the best way I can phrase this.
I love that so much. That's such a genuine answer.
If I can live my dream, anybody else can do it too. That's what it was.
That is such a beautiful answer. I'm glad I got to ask you that question and you didn't disappoint with the answer. I want to kind of lighten it up a little bit. I love this segment. This is like one of my favorite segments. It's the fan's eye view, because I love to catch people off guard with like a random picture, and maybe just have you tell the story behind it. Yours isn't so random. I have this feeling it might be one of your prouder accomplishments, but I'm going to throw something up on the screen for you. And if you could just tell us a quick story about it. There we go.
Okay.
Who is that green-haired woman?
That is a much skinnier version of me. I have gained a lot of muscle since then. Oh my goodness. That really puts in perspective how much work I've been putting into the gym. I'm also tanner. Ignore the fact that I don't have a spray tan, please, because I usually do. I just don't right now. That is when I got to go to Ring of Honor, which was a super cool experience. When I was 14, that's around the time that AEW first made its debut. It was in 2019, yeah. So that's around the time I started training too. It was a good solid several months later. But at the time, trying to figure out how to phrase this, WWE wasn't exactly on my list of, hey, I want to go here, just because things were a little bit strange, and I had heard a lot of things. I was like, I don't think I'd be safe working there. But it's so much better now, and I would absolutely love to work for WWE.
Just a little disclaimer at the bottom of the screen.
Absolutely.
I got you.
We'll reverse the fine print was at the top. The big print is I want to work for WWE now.
100%. I got you. That's the headline.
I would absolutely also love to work for AEW again. Ring of Honor. It was so cool. I got to work with Nyla Rose, and she is one of the people that I watched when I was 14. And I told her that, and she said, "Kid, you're making me feel old. Please don't ever say that to me again." She's like, you're an adult now. I don't like that.
That's fantastic.
She was absolutely amazing. So when I was informed that I was going to have a match for that night, that was my first time ever doing extra work anywhere. When I was informed that I had a match.
That's a hell of a start.
Yeah, it was. I immediately texted my dad. What I meant to say was, I got a match in all caps. That is not what ended up happening. What I said was absolute gibberish. And he was like, what did you just say? I think I know what you meant, but what? It was
I love that.
insane. And after the match happened, we got back. I got my critiques because if you don't get critiques, you're not getting better. I got my critiques, and then I talked to Nyla. I was like, hey, I think 14-year-old Airica needs to go cry now. And she's like, oh, you earned that cry. Go do your thing. You earned it.
Love that. That's fantastic.
It was great. I went to the bathroom. I was like jumping up and down. I was crying, and it was fantastic. It was everything that 14-year-old Airica needed at the time, because I'm pretty sure I was a little bit low, like feeling like mentally. I was a little low, like not exactly super happy with what was going on. I could be completely wrong. I don't know. I've had a lot of low points because I am a human being. It happens.
Fair enough. Yeah. I love that. Might be my favorite Fans Eye View segment yet. Just the idea of you getting your ass kicked by Nyla, and then like 10 minutes later you're jumping up and down so excited you're in tears. that is pro wrestling in a nutshell.
I forgot about all the pain I was in because adrenaline and
which I'm sure was immense. And Nyla is not known for being light. Let's just say that.
Yeah, she's great.
What is a piece of advice, and this can be wrestling related or this can just be life related as we start to wrap this thing up? What's a piece of advice that's maybe really resonated with you over the years that you could share with the viewers?
Honestly, the advice that I sort of take to is usually from My Hero Academia, if I'm being honest. So the biggest one that I like to give out, and I try to keep in the back of my head, is dreams can become reality. Because it is so true. So insanely true. The biggest proof of that for me is every time I go to a show and I have kids running up to my merch table being like, oh my God, you're so cool. There was this one time at a show, I had a little girl run up to me. She was screaming, I love you so much. And I was like, I've never seen this kid before in my life, but she's my new favorite little human.
That I can imagine you're probably a hit with the kids with the gimmick and with your merch, that I've seen. I can see that.
I have so many stickers, and kids love stickers. So always.
Hey, I'm not a kid, and I love stickers, so I understand. A lot of this
stuff on my wall is stickers. Like
I love that.
Those are stickers. This stickers. Got a lot.
I'm with you. You can't see it because I got this big fancy background behind me, but yeah, it's a memorabilia wall behind me as well.
I love it.
What are you a fan of? Obviously, we've dove into your love of anime, but what are you also a fan of outside of wrestling?
Video games. I'm a huge video game nerd. I love video games.
That answer.
I'm a big Nintendo fan. I also love Minecraft.
Not surprising.
Minecraft is definitely one of my favorites. It's what I play most often when I'm stressed, or Animal Crossing. Usually Minecraft, because I can be a little more creative with it.
Right.
Some of my favorite video games that aren't Nintendo are Fallout, a game called The Forest. It's a horror game. It scares the crap out of me. What else do I like? I don't know.
Not a Call of Duty kind of girl, huh?
No, I've never gotten into that. I'm not dissing anybody that is into it. I just know absolutely nothing about it. My mom,
you're a better person for it.
So I know very little about that.
Fair enough.
I'm a big Zelda fan. Zelda's probably my favorite. I'm trying to beat Majora's Mask right now. It's one of the only 3D games I haven't beat, and Lord Almighty, am I struggling. It's not an easy game. It's very confusing.
Zelda's like the seventh circle of hell for me from my childhood, because I grew up, my God, I can't remember which one it was, but I was at that weird age where, like, beating a video game was the end all be all, and I could never beat Ocarina of Time. So
I couldn't beat it when I was a kid either. I started playing that game when I was 5, and I didn't beat it until I turned 18.
That checks out. Yes, to be honest with you, I'm now in my 30s and I still haven't beaten it. And I literally still have my Nintendo 64.
My dad is doing this in the background. Zelda is his favorite of all time. 100%. Zelda and Mario.
God bless that. Fantastic game, beautifully written story, everything. It's just so hard.
That's why his name is The Legend of Solar instead of The Legend of Zelda.
God bless. Yeah. Just saying the word Zelda frustrates me at this point.
Valid, but it's so good. I love it so much. I love the stories, and please don't throw that at me. I didn't say it. It wasn't me.
It's a fantastic game. Let me just say, Zelda is amazing. I am just a chimp who just is not smart enough to beat it. That's all.
He agrees. Anyways.
Last but not least, my favorite question that I ask everyone, because again, fans view, I love to get to know the person, and nothing encapsulates the true person better than this. That question is, what does success mean to you at this stage, not only of your career, but obviously you're a young woman still, but of your life? What does success mean to you?
Honestly, if it doesn't mean getting signed to a major company, for me, like, I've already succeeded, because having children come up to me saying, you make me want to be a wrestler, or having adults come up to me saying, you inspire me to do better, you make me feel like I can achieve my dreams. That's all I can ask.
Absolutely. I love that answer. Airica, I want to thank you again for coming on. Like I said, I know you're incredibly busy. So the fact that you were able to carve out some time for the fans view is just so appreciated. Where can people get a hold of you? I know you have a Patreon page. You're on all socials. Where can people get a hold of you?
If I'm being honest, all of my handles are different. I should probably change that. I don't want to, because for one, that's a lot of time and effort down the drain. Your best bet would probably be to Google me. And it's exactly how my name is spelled right here. Just Google that.
Okay.
And you'll know if it's me based on, obvious signs. I have, you know what? Hold on.
And we're going to link everything in the description for you as well.
That'll be so helpful. This is, that's not, okay. This is, oh no. Give me a second. Technical difficulties. Nope, still no. Okay. Well,
nope. We're going to link it all in the description for you guys.
I think my Patreon should be patreon.com/your hero Airica Demia, or just Airica Demia. I also have a pro wrestling tees if you want to buy t-shirts.
Get it. We're going to direct everybody there. I know it's a Patreon. It's a little spicy. Guys, don't be weird. We're just going to put that disclaimer out there.
If you want to be weird, it's fine. Just pay me for it. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Actually, that is the most honest thing I've ever heard. If you're going to be weird, she's going to make money off of it. No. God bless you. Do your thing, girl. Well, like I said, Airica, thank you so much for coming on. And hopefully this is the first appearance of many. Hopefully, if your dad doesn't choke me out for not liking Zelda, we can have him on sometime in the future.
He would love
and like I said, as he screams at me for besmirching
yeah.
I can only imagine. He's a very intimidating man. As he wants to fight me for besmirching the good name of Zelda. I do so apologize, sir. But until next time, like I said, Airica, thank you so much for your time. Guys, make sure to go check out the Patreon. Don't be weird unless your wallet's open. Check her out on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. And that's for you. That is that's your thank you for coming on the show. But support her on social, support her on Patreon. Go buy a t-shirt. Just show her some love. She deserves the support. And when she's at a show near you, go check her out. But until next time, guys, thanks so much for watching. And don't forget, most importantly, call your mom. You are wonderful.
Like or subscribed. You're going to be joking me.